All right, so you've got a vending machine operator interview coming up. That's pretty cool. We've got this whole stack of RoleCatcher resources. They're really packed with great info. Are you ready to deep dive into how to just ace this interview?
Yeah, let's do it. It's really interesting, this job. It doesn't always get a lot of attention, but it combines practical skills with customer interaction, which can be really rewarding.
Totally. First things first, RoleCatcher's career guide gives you a picture of what a vending machine operator actually does day to day. What stood out to you?
The mix of responsibilities, it's not just stocking, it's like understanding the mechanics, handling cash,
Yeah.
troubleshooting problems. You're kind of like a mini entrepreneur for snacks.
Yeah, it is like having your own little store on wheels.
Hmm.
Speaking of troubleshooting, let's jump right into some interview questions. RoleCatcher has a ton of these, and they break down what the interviewer is really looking for. Ready for the first one? All right, imagine you're in the interview, and they ask, can you walk me through a time you had to troubleshoot a technical problem? Now, this could be anything. It doesn't have to be just vending machines. What's your approach?
It's about showing off those problem-solving skills, even if you haven't worked with a vending machine specifically. So think of a time you fixed something, like a bike or a gadget, even a leaky faucet. The key is to explain the process. What steps did you take to diagnose it? What resources did you use? Did you have to get creative with your solution?
And don't forget to highlight the outcome. Did you fix it? Did you learn something new?
Yeah.
Interviewers love to see that aha moment. Now, building on that, they might ask a follow-up. Like, what's the most complex technical problem you've ever solved? How would you tackle that one?
Okay, well, that's where you can really go deep with a specific example. One that showcases your technical skills. So maybe you had to research online or consult a manual or even take something apart to figure it out. The more detail you can provide, the better.
Absolutely. And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can actually analyze these types of questions and help you tailor your answers. You can even practice saying them out loud and get feedback on your delivery.
Oh, wow. It's like having a virtual coach right there with you, helping you polish your responses and sound more confident.
Exactly. Now let's switch gears to customer service. Common question is, how would you handle a customer who is frustrated because the vending machine took their money? What are your thoughts on that one?
Oh, man. I think empathy is key. Acknowledge their frustration. Let them know you understand, and then explain the steps you'd take to resolve it. So would you try to fix it right there on the spot? Do you have a way to give them a refund? You just want to show that you're focused on making things right.
It's all about staying calm under pressure and finding a solution. They might even ask, have you ever had to deal with a difficult customer? How did you handle it? What would you say?
This is your chance to share a specific story. That shows off your conflict resolution skills. So focus on active listening, staying professional, and finding a solution that works for both the customer and the company.
Perfect. Now, RoleCatcher's career guide mentions how important inventory management is. How do you think that might come up in the interview?
Maybe they'll ask something like, how would you ensure that the vending machine is always stocked with the most popular items? It's your chance to talk about your organizational skills. So how would you track inventory? How would you predict demand?
Yeah. Would you prioritize certain products over others? Would you consider things like seasonality or special events? Show them that you're thinking strategically. And speaking of strategy, they might ask, how would you suggest we improve our current vending machine offerings? What would you say?
Ooh, that's a great opportunity to show off your knowledge of the industry. Have you noticed any trends in vending machine products? Are there healthier options or new technologies that would be appealing? This is where you can really impress them with your insights.
Exactly. And this is where RoleCatcher's AI can be a big help. It can analyze the specific job description and highlight keywords related to inventory management, customer service, or any other skills they're looking for. Then it can help you weave those keywords into your answers, so you're really speaking their language.
It's like having a secret decoder ring for the interview.
Totally. Now let's talk about your experience. One common question is, what experience do you have that makes you a good fit for this role? What would you highlight?
Well, this is where you connect your past experiences to the specific requirements. Even if you haven't worked as a vending machine operator before, you can highlight transferable skills. So have you worked in retail? Have you handled cash? Have you done any inventory management? Just focus on the skills that align with what they are looking for.
Yeah, they might even ask, what are your strengths and weaknesses as they relate to this role?
Yeah.
How would you approach that one?
When you are talking about your strengths, choose qualities that are really relevant to the job, like being organized, reliable, and having a good understanding of how things work. And then when it comes to weaknesses, be honest, but frame them in a positive way. For example, you could say, I'm always eager to learn new things, so sometimes I can be a bit too meticulous. But I'm working on finding that balance between thoroughness and efficiency.
That's a really great way to spin it. It shows you're self-aware and committed to improvement.
Exactly. And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can help you identify those strengths and weaknesses based on your resume and work history. It can even suggest specific examples to use.
It's like having a personal career coach right in your pocket.
Hmm.
All right, let's move on to a question that comes up a lot. Why are you interested in this role? What's your advice on answering that?
This is where you can show your genuine enthusiasm for the job and the company. Have you done any research on their culture or their values? Do you have a personal connection to vending machines? Maybe you love the idea of being out on the road and interacting with people.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to talk about the growth potential. RoleCatcher's Career Guide highlights the different paths you can take in this industry. You could start as an operator and work your way up to a lead role, a supervisor, or even a management position.
It's a job with some real possibilities, and showing that you understand that can make a big impression.
Now let's tackle a question that can feel a bit tricky. Tell me about a time you had to deal with a difficult situation at work. What's your approach here?
Choose a situation that shows off your problem-solving skills and your ability to stay calm when things get tough. Did you have a conflict with a coworker? Did you have to deal with a demanding customer? Explain what happened, outline the steps you took, and highlight the positive outcome.
And remember, it's okay to talk about challenges and what you learned from them. It shows that you're capable of growth and self-reflection. Okay, I know we've covered a lot already, but there are a few more key questions that RoleCatcher highlights. I think they are worth discussing.
Definitely. Let's dive in. There's always more to learn.
Okay, here's one that throws a lot of people off. What are your salary expectations? How do you navigate this?
I think preparation is key. So before you even go to the interview, do some research. See what the typical salaries are for vending machine operators. Especially in your area, sites like Glassdoor or Salary.com are really good resources.
Yeah, that gives you a realistic range, so you don't undersell yourself.
Yeah.
Or like go in way too high.
Exactly. RoleCatcher also recommends giving a range instead of like a specific number. It shows that you're flexible and it leaves some room for negotiation.
That makes sense. More like a starting point
Yeah.
than the final word. Anything else RoleCatcher says about this question?
Oh, yeah. They really emphasize focusing on the value that you bring. Instead of just saying a number, connect it back to your skills and your experience or anything unique you offer.
Oh, so it's like, based on my proven track record of insert awesome skill here, my salary expectation is...
Exactly. And you know what? If you're having trouble figuring out how to say it, RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you write out that response. It takes the job description and your qualifications into account.
That's really cool. Let's move on to another classic question. What are your strengths and weaknesses?
Ooh,
This one feels like a minefield sometimes.
it can be. But just be honest and self-aware when you're talking about your strengths. Pick things that are really relevant for this specific job and back them up with examples. So don't just say you're organized. Tell a quick story that shows it.
Show don't tell, great. What about weaknesses? Any tips there?
I would say choose something that you're working on improving. That way you're showing that you know where you need to grow, but that you're actually being proactive about it.
RoleCatcher's Career Guide had some good examples for this job. Things like attention to detail or physical stamina. Those could be good or bad depending how you describe them.
Exactly. So maybe you're so detail-oriented that it slows you down sometimes. But you're learning to prioritize, turn it into a positive. And you know, RoleCatcher's AI can help here too. It can analyze your work history and find those strengths and weaknesses for you.
Okay, here's a question that can really throw people off. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Do you have to have your whole life planned out for this?
Oh, no, not at all. What you want to do is show them that you're ambitious and that you're aligned with the company's goals. You don't need to have a set plan, but saying that you're eager to learn and grow and contribute to their success, that goes a long way.
So maybe mentioning some specific areas you're interested in, like from RoleCatcher's Career Guide. Maybe you're thinking about leading a team eventually, or specializing in a certain type of vending machine.
Yeah, that's a great idea. It shows that you've done your research and that you see yourself growing with them.
Okay, let's talk about a question that's all about showing off your work ethic. Tell me about a time you went above and beyond in a previous job.
This is your time to shine. Pick a specific story. Don't just say that you work hard. Did you take on more responsibility than usual? Did you solve a problem in a creative way? Show them what makes you so valuable.
And don't forget about the outcome. What impact did your hard work have? Did you save the company money or go beyond what the customer expected? make their day.
The more concrete and specific your example is, the better. RoleCatcher even gives some specific examples for vending machine work, like resolving a difficult customer issue or finding a way to do things more efficiently.
Great. Now here's one that's a little more about how you act. Describe a time you faced a challenging situation at work and how you handled it.
This is all about your problem-solving process. So pick a situation that shows off the skills that are important for this job, like critical thinking or communication, or even teamwork. Then walk them through what you did, how you figured out the problem, got the information you needed, and then came up with the solution.
And remember, it's okay to be honest, even if it didn't work out perfectly. Talk about what you learned. That shows that you can grow.
Right. RoleCatcher has some good examples related to vending machines, too, like what happens if a machine breaks down, or if there's a disagreement with a customer. Thinking about those can help you remember similar things from your own experience.
Okay, this one's about working together. Tell me about a time you worked effectively as part of a team.
Don't just say you're a team player. You need a story that proves it. Did you bring a special skill to the table? Did you help a teammate be successful? Focus on what you did and how it helped the whole team.
Yeah, and highlighting those soft skills like communication and listening and being supportive, that's really important here. They want to see how you work with other people, not just on your own.
And guess what? RoleCatcher has examples for that too, like working with a team to restock the machines, or with the maintenance people to fix a complicated problem. Those can help you brainstorm your own team experiences.
Okay, changing gears a bit here. Sometimes interviewers throw in a random question that seems totally unrelated to the job. Like, what's your favorite book? Or, what are your hobbies? What are they even trying to get at with those?
Don't let it throw you off. They're trying to get a feel for your personality and see how you'd fit in with their company culture. So be yourself. Talk about something you actually enjoy. And if you can, try to connect it back to the job somehow.
Oh, I see. So like if your hobby is building model cars, you could talk about how patient and detail-oriented you are, which is important for a vending machine operator because you got to be really careful stocking and maintaining those machines.
Exactly. It's a way to show them a different side of you, but still highlight skills that are relevant.
We're almost done with all these questions. Here's one more that's really important. Do you have any questions for us? This is where a lot of people mess up. What should they do?
This is your chance to shine. Show them that you're really interested and that you've been paying attention. So have a few good questions ready. Don't just ask about the salary and benefits. Go deeper. Ask about the company culture, growth opportunities, or even what it's actually like to do the job day to day.
Oh, RoleCatcher had a good suggestion. They said to ask something specific based on what you've learned about the company or the industry. So maybe something like, how does your company keep up with new vending machine technology? Or what are some of the biggest challenges facing vending machine operators today?
Those are great questions. It shows that you've done your homework and that you're really thinking about it. It's a good way to end the interview on a high note.
Okay, we've covered a lot. Before we wrap up, any final thoughts for someone getting ready for this interview?
I think the biggest thing is just how much more there is to this job than most people realize. It's not just about putting chips and candy in a machine. It's about solving problems, helping customers, even like understanding a little bit about business.
Yeah, and RoleCatcher doesn't just get you ready for the interview. Their career guide shows you how you can actually grow in this job. You can start as an operator and then become a lead, maybe even go into management.
I thought that was really cool. It's not just a dead-end job. You can really build a whole career here.
Totally. And speaking of the whole career thing, RoleCatcher talks about how the industry is changing. They've got touchscreens now, healthier options, even those like super specific machines you see sometimes.
It's getting more high-tech, which opens up even more possibilities for people who like technology and want to learn new things.
That's a good point. And that brings me to our final thought for you, something to think about as you get ready for that interview. Imagine you could create your own vending machine. What would it have in it? What problem would it solve? What would make it totally unique?
Ooh, that's a good one. It makes you think outside the box. And it shows the interviewer that you're not just looking for a job, you're thinking about the whole industry.
Exactly. So go into that interview prepared and confident, and with your own vision for the future of vending. You got this